Hi, name's Joseph Gill. I'm a senior at YSU going for a major in information technology and a minor in social media communications. This is my first video blog for the Capstone class, System Analysis and Design. Wrapping up our first assignment right now, and easy 50 points, just a 3-page paper and a short presentation in class tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Really do like the instructor. Seems to be a nice guy. Seriously knows his stuff, so really look forward to hearing his business inputs and personal experiences within the IT field throughout this semester. Probably I don't know, turn around the opinion I have of this program so far. I haven't really been impressed, not really impressed with what I know or the opportunities that have arisen, but we gotta work hard. So, I'll be talking to you guys again soon. Coming into this class, the expectations for the capstone, I thought that this would be kind of an accumulation or a review of everything that we learned going through this program, and coming to find out from our professor, which wasn't a lot apparently. Our first impressions of Mr. Hughes, seems like a pretty cool guy. Definitely knows his stuff and has a little bit of experience within the field, especially the emphasis on system analysis and design that he's told us many times. He's does this contract privately on his own, so hopefully we'll pick up some things from him, learn a couple things along the way while we take this class. The first project, we already finished it at the time of recording this. I got a 60 on it out of a possible 50, I believe. It was supposed to be a, let me read this here, a component decomposition, a qualitative and qualitative reliability review, input process and output analysis, a cost analysis, and a system development lifecycle analysis of 3 systems: D-Wave and quantum computing, the iGEM competition for genetics, something along those lines, and for NORAD, the missile defense system of the United States and North America. So they did pretty well in this paper. I don't know. I didn't do the formatting right to begin with. It was the ACM formatting. I typed it in what I thought was ACM formatting because I haven't really had any experience with it before. Then I come to find out later that this is supposed to be 2-columned, and I believe I found a web source of this format as opposed to an actual journal source. So that's where I got my confusion from. But the 3 systems is a good warm-up for the rest of the class. We'll talk about that more in later video blogs. But it was definitely gave us an idea of what he was looking for, I believe, throughout these projects at this class. Graded it very lightly for everybody. I know that for a fact. I feel as if this Mr. Hughes's expectations of us have kind of risen as we've gotten further along into these projects, only being at project 2 now. We'll have to see where the rest of these projects go as how rigorous his grading will be. Yeah, so I guess project 1, that's in the book, so move on to talking a little bit about project 2 here. This project was dealing with an RFQ, yes, the RFQ from the FDA with the American Diabetes Association, and its I want to say mistreatment of, but underrepresentation of minorities when it comes to funding for research of this disease. I ended up getting a 270 out of 250 on this project too. I believe that's for my diagrams. They kind of stood out to me. That's one thing I've learned so far in this class, is that these UML diagrams are actually very helpful, especially when it comes to kind of visualizing your ideas whenever you're going through these system designs and these system development life cycles. So it's nice to kind of have a visual of what you put down on the paper. Yeah, just learning about this, definitely learn more about the system development life cycles while doing this project. I believe I did, let me see if I can find it here. I believe I did the iterative, yes, I did the iterative model and the spiral model for this project. And I found that the spiral model is definitely more effective for a project of this scale, and especially with this amount of funding that they have for this project, definitely the better choice out of the spiral or the iterative model. Yeah, that wraps up what I have for this first video blog here. Like I said, we're at the end of the second project now, working on the third, so I will update you guys with more information and continue this video blog series as I get on to project 3. So we'll see you then. Hey again guys, it's Joe, continuing my video blog series today with a little talk about project 3 and project 4, and just make a quick mention of the Capstone project too while I'm making this video blog, just because kind of about halfway through that now. It's probably important to talk about that in this video blog series, even though we're supposed to have a separate 30-minute video for that. It's probably going to be important to touch on that again. I'll probably plan on making one more video blog after this one, just with some final thoughts for the class as a whole, and my final impressions leaving. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop right into it. Talking a little bit about project 3. We had this graded already. I got mine back, getting just 10 points above the total for the class, so we got a 260 out of 250. For this project, we were to it was a system specification and requirement analysis project. So for this project here, we were supposed to view the video source posted by Cameron, dealing with David Davenport, or I think that was his name, Mr. Davenport, we'll call him, and his added trap for plumbing and things of that nature. It was essentially just a little PVC pipe with a little trap in it that would catch like jewelry or whatever else fell down your drain, so it wouldn't go off into the sewage system. You could get it back. So for this project, we were to view that video and rip specification document out of it, and then turn that specification document into a requirements document. Doing that, I watched the video, pulled as much information as I could about how he was associated with this company called Hajoka, and I had he was basically a supplier with about 250 outlets, but he was only selling to one outlet for whatever reason, and he has been in business since about 2001. So he should probably really share that information as soon as he possibly can. I don't know what he's waiting for. But like I said, I'll list a couple more of the specifications that I got from that video there. Yeah, like I said, he's in only one of those 250 outlets. He has orders and contracts with a couple of different people. Some man that makes vanities for hotels. He has a big contract with him. A couple pet stores he has contracts with. He uses UPS and basically the United States Postal Service to ship these added trap things to whoever buys them from his website, which I thought personally was a little outdated myself, but to each their own, I suppose. It's not my business, so not my place to say anything. Yeah, he uses an AOL account as well to handle all of his orders and things of that nature, which I thought was very strange, to be completely honest. Should probably have a dedicated shopping cart on his website personally, where it doesn't just send him an email to ship out these orders. It should generate its own individual order forms. And I talked a little bit more about that in my requirements document, or excuse me, my preliminary design document, not my requirements document. The requirements document for this project simply just took the specification document, kind of drilled it down a little bit more, really narrowed down what was needed for this particular project to try to find a current solution to this Mr. Davenport's problem of trying to reach out to more distributors, suppliers, and essentially get more business for his product, which I accomplished through some solutions and improvements that I thought up, which was a total website redesign, trying to modernize the site, include a new e-commerce system to be added to that website, maybe set up something along the lines of PayPal instead of just using cashier's checks or whatever he was doing before. I also suggested boosting his relationship with the distributor as opposed to just not selling to those 249 outlets. He mentioned in the video something about not or being able to share information with those outlets, but choosing not to for whatever reason. And if I was Mr. Davenport, or if I was watching this video, Mr. Davenport, I would definitely reach out to those other 249 outlets, or possibly strike some sort of contract with the Joker to push this product to any outlet that they're associated with, because that just makes more sense to me. The more exposure your project has, of course, is going to get more sales, unless it's just not a feasible product. But I actually think this is something that was feasible, something that's probably an afterthought for many people, but actually could come in handy or useful if you happen to drop something down the drain. I know I've been there before. So also, all right, we're getting a little bit off track here, but also for this project 3, we were required to do 3 UML diagrams: a use case diagram, an activity diagram, and a component diagram. I created these UMLs using Lucidchart, like I have for almost every other project that we've done for this class, project 2, 3, and 4 actually, and I've used some for the Capstone as well, the final project. I believe that Lucidchart is a great tool to use these projects. I think I've said this in past video blogs. It's just great to have like a visualization of what you're trying to say or what you're trying to put down on paper whenever you're doing these projects. If that's one thing that I've taken away from this class, is that those UML diagrams are very important, and they're almost universal as well. Mr. Hughes has said many times during class and after class that these UML diagrams can almost break a language barrier. If you're working with someone in Munich, Germany on a system design or a software development lifecycle, and you don't speak the same language, you can literally send off 5 or 6 UMLs that will persuade the point that you're trying to make, or the design that you're trying to produce with these people, and they'll understand it to a degree using, I guess, some sort of translator to translate it English to German. But that's beside the point. But yeah, going just back to this project 3 again, we got a 260 out of 250 on this project, so not my best showing so far in this class, but definitely a little bit above average, so we'll take it. What I've learned from this project in particular was that specifications and requirements, especially when doing projects of moderate size, are very, very important. You want to have a strong set of requirements and a strong set of specifications, just so you ensure that you know what you're doing from the jump and not waste any time. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, so just talked a little bit about project 3. I'm going to move on to project 4 now. We actually got this going back just a few days ago, I believe. I got a 290 out of 250 on this project, so by far the best one that I've gotten back so far, which is promising because, as Cameron said, as we get further along in these things, we should be getting better, so I guess I'm getting better, which is a relief, I suppose, for this final project. Anyway, so talking a little bit about this project 4 here, we were to use the Rapid Application Development Lifecycle, or RAD lifecycle, to complete a design that accomplishes the objectives of a real company in Boardman, Ohio. And if my memory serves me correctly, this company was Crawling to Destiny, a daycare center for, excuse me, a daycare center in Boardman, Ohio. They were looking to streamline their hiring process in some way, from actual posting of the jobs all the way up into training the actual hire for the job that they applied for. During this project, we were to complete another specifications and requirements document similar to the ones that we had to make in project 3. We were to use a project management software such as LibreOffice version of project management software, and this was used purposely to show the work breakdown structure of the necessary tasks for this project, and to generate a Gantt and PERT chart for this project as well, which I have on here and has good mark next to it, so I'm assuming these are correct. Also, for this project, we were to create a couple UML diagrams, a use case specifying the solution in detail, and a component and deployment diagram as well that specifies the hardware and software components that are going to be used for this solution, and an activity diagram that labeled out every step along the way from the inception of the actual job post, posting in the job post, interviewing, or excuse me, recruiting, interviewing, hiring, and the actual training process itself. And the last thing we were to create for this project was a Facebook page that was just created to link our PDF for the actual solution of the project to the actual client so they can access it and take a look at what we came up with for the solution for this project. I thought that I did well in my solution to this problem that they were solving here. Oh, excuse me. But there are many hiring, like, I don't want to say software is available out there, but hiring applications are available out there. And for this purpose of this project, I chose 3: Recruitee, Greenhouse, and Applicant Stack, simply because they seem to be the most highly rated online. And from what I could tell, they had the easiest interface to work with, and they weren't so much hiring and recruiting applications as they were HR management softwares. So that kind of tied into the idea that they wanted to train these people after they got hired. Something that I talked about with someone from Calling to Destiny in an email conversation that we have, that they wanted to create almost like a series of YouTube videos to train these new hires that came in, as opposed to just having someone basically shadow them all day and tell them what they should be doing. They wanted to create a series of videos that these new hires could watch and catalog their progress along the way to ensure that they were completing these training videos. And which I thought was kind of a good idea, because normally when you get hired for a job, you think, okay, we're gonna shadow around with somebody, make sure that they know what they're doing and all that. But if you have a set of training videos with just a few questions after, you can really gauge the knowledge and the experience of a new hire just based off simply their answers to training videos they just watched, which I thought was a really interesting idea, and I could totally see something like that being implemented, just not in this daycare, but possibly other places of business. So, yeah, getting back to this project 4, I thought that the best option for this class would be the Applicant Stack HR management software. You can do this HR management software is either bought as a whole with a license for about $425, or you can do monthly fees, which range anywhere from $35 to $95, depending on the functionality of whatever level or tier of this software that you wanted to use. Just going through the rest of this project here, I have the actual completion date for the project being December 30th, and the inception being around December of the 12th. Just leaves a little bit of time for the curation of training videos, buying the actual HR management software, and then training current employees on how to use this HR management software. And we also needed to figure out a way to host these videos online, which I thought would just be simple as YouTube, and then we can link that YouTube video to a web application that has something along the lines of a Quizlet, or just an HTML quiz with content boxes that you can fill in at the end. And then this information will be emailed to that HR management software, which in turn will hand it over back to the actual company themselves. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this project 4 here. And like I said, I'm just happy to be wrapping all that up, because that's the last project for the actual class itself. We're about halfway through our capstone, our final project now, which deals with the NRI 2.0, the remote robotics lab proposal that's coming to YSU, I believe either next year or the year following. We have been tasked with creating a proposal for this actual project itself, and we've been split up into teams based on project management, I believe, yeah, project management, web development and server team, database team, and the security team, of which I am a part of the database team and the web development team for this project. Um, as far as the web development side goes, I think we're leaning towards a WordPress at this point, using a few different, excuse me, sorry about that, I had to take a phone call. But I believe I was talking about the web development team for the final Capstone project, dealing with, I think we were using a WordPress for our final project here, with a variety of plugins to accomplish the related forms and contact information that's needed to be gathered for this final project here. So yeah, I think I'll leave the majority of my speaking on that final project for the actual 30-minute final video. And I believe I'll come back with one more video blog after this one to talk about my final thoughts in the class and to kind of wrap up this whole video blog series. So hopefully we'll see you then. Hey, it's Joseph Gill. This is going to be the last, I guess, entry in my video blog series for the final class, Information 4880, System Design and Analysis. For this video, I just wanted to end on some final thoughts about the class and I guess Mr. Hughes in general. As far as the classmates are concerned, a great group of people. Definitely, I think a lot smarter than we all let on, because I know that we all have different experiences and different internships and different jobs and everything. And we're all trying to juggle this last class with a variety of other things, and I think we're all handling it pretty well. Definitely, yeah, like I said, just definitely good group of, I don't want to say kids, young adults that I know that most of them have a pretty good future ahead of them in this field or in whatever else they continue to do as they go through the road of life. I did want to make just like a quick observation, I suppose. I was just very, I don't know if confused or concerned, as like the capstone class, the final class of this whole like information technology program at YSU, is held in just one of the worst classrooms in the entirety of Meshel Hall. Like, we just renovated the entire building over the last, I think, last summer, and they put the capstone class in like the 200, I think it's like 220 or 222, 221, and it's literally just a blackboard with an old computer running Windows 7, and that's it. There's no computers in there, there's no like renovated tables, there's no technology. The entirety of the class was taught off of a blackboard, and not even the blackboard that was used for like dealing out assignments or anything like that, which I don't know, just thought that was very weird, I suppose. But I guess moving on to my last final thought was Mr. Hughes. Like I said at the beginning of this video blog series, he was a pretty cool guy, and I maintained that towards the end. His teaching style is a little strange, just kind of criticism in the way of criticizing you and hoping that you will learn based off of that, which I found strange in a university setting, but the more that I thought about it, really kind of in line with the rest of the real world. In the real world, you're not going to get detailed, specific of what you need to do in most cases. I shouldn't generalize, but in most cases, you're not going to get that. You're going to be given a project, you're going to do that project, and you're going to get criticized on that project in order to learn when you do the project again for the next time. So while, I don't know, many other students in the class probably wouldn't agree with me on this, simply because he was kind of distant the whole time, it seemed like he had a lot going on and maybe a lot on his plate and not enough time to focus on his class and maybe design his curriculum, or maybe he had to change his curriculum around us because of the lack of information that we had, or lack of knowledge that we had. But overall, I think he did a pretty good job of teaching his class, even though some would disagree with that. It's definitely a unique teaching style, but one that I think is more in line with actual jobs in the real world as opposed to a university setting, of which that we are all leaving. So it's kind of nice to get exposed to that a little bit. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and that's all I have for this video blog series. It's been a pleasure, anyone watching this in the class. It's been a pleasure working with you guys on everything, and especially this last project. And I wish you all the best and future success.